President Trump will head back to Washington later today for a briefing on Iran after announcing.
Oh, no, okay. Well, you know his ass hates leaving the golf course on a weekend to go back to Washington, D.C. So that's not good. That's also not good either. On the weekend, when he's at his golf course in New Jersey, flying back to D.C., that is a troublesome sign. Let's get to it. Obviously, most important news of the day is World War III going to break out? Now, we covered the Seymour Hersh reporting on this. Cy Hersh said that Trump was waiting for the market to close and for the weekend to kick in to actually escalate with Iran and actually strike Iran directly. Last night, there was more tit for tat. Steve Bannon is hinting at a big weekend. The party is on. World War III is on. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this is the case. Like, I feel like Steve Bannon is like a non-entity. But yeah, B-2 bombers are moving, but that could be nothing. I want cooler heads to prevail here. U.S. official confirms to the Post that B-2 stealth bombers are in the air over the Pacific heading west. They're going to go to Guam, and they actually could strike from Guam technically, but they do go to Guam routinely. So it's not like it's completely out of the, it's completely out of order here. Like the events, I don't know. I'm going to engage in copium and say, who knows? Maybe diplomacy will thrive. There's no need to strike from Guam. Diego Garcia is the B-2 base for Iran strikes. MAGA star Steve Bannon plays an outsized role in Trump's Iran decision, sources. Okay, but Steve Bannon is not trying to go to war with Iran, so that doesn't make any sense. Like, he is supposedly the isolationist wing on the MAGA base. It's like him and Tucker on the isolationism MAGA base side, and Trump, on the other hand, alongside everyone else, is like full neocon. This is a little bit reductive, but kind of like this. Ryan Grimm, Trump, feeling clever. I'm going to take 2 weeks to decide whether to bomb. Entire world. He's bombing this weekend. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. War Room is going to do a possible special broadcast at 4 p.m. This is so alarming and so sad and so pathetic that on the one hand, we're like looking at patterns of development for B-2 bombers loaded with munitions and whether or not those bombers will be used on Iranian soil as a direct act of escalation and direct involvement. America waging war with a foreign nation without congressional approval, of course, because who cares about that sort of thing? And like what? We're going to learn about this from Steve fucking Bannon? Steve Bannon, the ugliest homunculoid that has ever existed. The human skin tag, Stephen Jedediah Bannon, is going to be telling us on a shitty podcast whether or not Donald Trump is going to bomb Iran, because Donald Trump has conversations with Steve Bannon on these issues. Like, who's next? Is Kid Rock going to say it at a concert? Like, is that what's going on? Oh my God, I just spoke that into existence. The announcement for going to war with China will be done at a Kid Rock concert, okay? In between one of his pedophile songs. Kid Rock's gonna be like, and we're going to war with China too. Donald Trump told me. Great. Love the way that the world works. Fantastic.
Breaking moments ago, new reports from open source plane spotters show 6 B-2 stealth bombers from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri appearing to head toward a U.S. Air Force base in Guam. The B-2 can carry 2 15-ton bunker buster bombs that could be used to target Iran's heavily fortified Fordo nuclear site. This is a second U.S. aircraft carrier will arrive in the Middle East this weekend. President Trump will return later today to the White House for an intelligence briefing. Welcome to Fox News Live on a busy news weekend.
Someone said, how is this a stealth bomber if we know where it's going? What do you mean? Yeah, when it's deployed to actually do a bombing campaign, then you don't know when it's flying in the air. If it's just like routinely flying somewhere and it's, its transponder is on, like, yeah, you can track it. When it's about to do the bombing, I don't think you can track it on flight radar when it's literally in the process of doing the bombing. Never let them know your next move until it's Fox News. U.S. has evacuated staff in the Tel Aviv embassy. I don't know if that's real or not, but I thought that they had already closed the embassy anyway, so this makes sense. This was slated to happen anyway.
I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. President Trump will head back to Washington later today for a briefing on Iran after announcing.
Oh, no, okay. Well, you know his ass hates leaving the golf course on a weekend to go back to Washington, D.C. So that's not good. You know what I mean? That's also not good either. On the weekend, when he's at his golf course in New Jersey, flying back to DC, that is a troublesome sign. Look, I want to say, cooler heads will prevail, I hope. Cooler heads will prevail, I hope. Come on, do some diplomacy, please. Except, what good is... what does that even mean? They were already in the process of negotiations when Israel struck Iran, and then Trump came out and was like, haha, we fooled you, Iran. We knew that diplomacy ain't shit. We knew that Israel was going to strike you. We actually totally love that Israel did that amidst a round of negotiations that was slated to start again. And so it feels like they don't really care about this at all, as a matter of fact. The publicized B2 movement is a show of force, so who knows? I know. Fuck the pizza index. Today we watched Trump's golf time for the index. Yeah, I'm of two different minds here. Obviously, there's two different patterns here, judging by what Trump has done in the past. I've talked about this quite a bit. Either this is like we are going to bully you into submission so that you, throw away all of the civil nuclear power that you could have ever had, to get like a weird own over Iran, basically to just like effectively undermine Iranian sovereignty by force, even if it's not like a threatening presence at all. Like them having a nuclear power grid in collaboration with like Russia and in collaboration with China is not necessarily a real threat. It's not nuclear armament. I don't know why they haven't made nukes at this point. But clearly that's not like the real point of these negotiations. The real point of these negotiations and the real ambition for America is to, I think, inevitably destabilize Iran. If not now, maybe 5 years down the line. And this is in that direction as well, weakening the regime, weakening the grip of power that they might have. In serving that ambition, this could be like peace through strength, which is what Trump says he likes to do when he says he's going to fucking do these kinds of like military actions, because he thinks like he can bully people into submission this way, and even like break previous understood negotiations processes by firing amidst the negotiation, knowing full well that they have to come back to the table regardless. Or the second option, which is that overall they want destabilization, they want to cripple the regime, they want to destroy the regime, they want to destabilize Iran, and people in Trump's ear are telling him this will be exactly like Qasem Soleimani. Because remember, last time around, when he assassinated Qasem Soleimani, an incredibly high-ranking, fairly popular but controversial, very polarizing figure within the IRGC, fairly controversial in the region. When he did that, when Qasem Soleimani was on a trip to Iraq, that was supposed to provoke tremendous response from Iran, but it didn't. It was a fairly limited retaliation. So if that's the case, and people in his ear are telling him that he won't get a significant response from Iran, and it'll just be like an in-and-out bombing campaign that will, I don't know, that Iran won't be able to retaliate against with significant force, then maybe it's fine. You should do it. Like that could be one of the other option here. Both of these goals obviously still play a formative role in weakening the power and the sovereignty that the Islamic Republic has in its sovereign state. Either one is a much longer, convoluted, drawn-out process that America and Israel's ambitions might look similar to what happened in Syria, which would be the negotiation aspect and like decreasing the Iranian sovereignty by bullying them into submission through force, or the other would be a long, drawn-out, maybe closer to Libya or closer to Iraq even, depending on how ambitious the American military is, with boots on the ground warfare, which of course is incredibly stupid and incredibly devastating for everyone involved, both Iran but also America as well. It would be the end of, I think, the American empire. So we shall see which way the wind blows. Here is the Iranian response, of course. Senior Iranian official says, if it's a choice between halting uranium enrichment and going to war, we choose war. This is on Reuters. You're thinking too short-term. Long-term is to install a puppet at the end of the Belt and Road Initiative. No, I'm not. thinking short term. I know that that is the goal. And whether they do that through destabilization in the interim, or they do that immediately, which they can't, or their goal might be to do that immediately, it doesn't matter here. What we're trying to figure out is parse through all of the limited amount of information, the will they, won't they, that's coming out of this administration to figure out if they're going to fucking actually strike Iran or not. And then in the aftermath, we'll see whether or not Iran can even maintain a war with America and, mine the Strait of Hormuz and close it off, at which point that cripples the entire oil production of the planet. Like, will they make it costly for everyone involved? Will they basically globalize the pain that they're experiencing and go all out or not?